Introduction theme intro. JTAKRAOSP. Zet-special 3x1 minus 1. Yet again, it's a break from 4s, but yet again, not really, cause today we look at the movie entitled Kamen Rider 4's 000 Movie Wars Megamax. Krafoom for short. This one we're looking at because it has a long name and I approve of this. As with the last movie I went over, this one features not just 4s, but Kamen Rider 000. If you've forgotten, he's the rider whose name unavoidably disappoints by the third O. Oh, and there's some other riders in this movie too, because they hang around and stuff, even though you don't see that a lot out of the movies. I'm sure it's a respect thing. Or they all hate each other. So let's get straight to it then. We begin the movie with Kamen Rider 000, Pajama Sam, wandering with his bindle of pink boxer shorts, reminding me just how much more dignified and charismatic he is compared to 4s. Speaking of Papa Dior and Fjarzengard, a bunch of riders that aren't him are in the midst of a fight with skeleton-faced businessmen. The skeleton-faced businessmen are after a mysterious artifact in some crater, but our ever-reliable team of mostly geriatric Kamen Riders stand brave and strong in their way. By which I mean they futz around while the artifact gets taken by evil scientists who were with the skeleton-faced businessmen, apparently. You can tell they're evil because they're scientists, which you can tell because they have lab coats. Also, one of them looks like a sweet transvestite from Transsexual Transylvania. Shame he has no lines. But that stuff doesn't matter. What matters is where this is happening. An informative caption labels this area Eastern Europe Country A, which has to mean what I assume it means, that the Illuminati, which control everything, were so disappointed with their kids not being able to learn the alphabet of nations that they turned the nations into an actual alphabet to make it easier. Speaking of, the double Illuminati of evil scientists are having a meeting to discuss how they plan to crossbreed the villains from 000 and 4's shows. It's the perfect plan to breed an A-rank golden chocobo and rake in the winnings. To that end, they do need a bunch of stuff we'll get into later, but one of the things, of course, was the artifact they picked up earlier, which they call SOLU, doubtless short for sycophantic ostentatious lycanthrope uvula. I don't know why they don't just call it that. Well, it looks like an energy tank from Mega Man. And speaking of Mega Man, he's not in this movie, which now changes scenes to Kanto Region Pacific Open Sea, according to the caption. Now, if you're not a local, you might think that's a wide area, but Kanto closes off the sea after 5 o'clock, and only a small portion is open to kids every other hour before then. Oh, speaking of every other hour, it's around here that a time-traveling fish man warps in from the future to kill a bunch of nameless extras. Yeah, I know, it's cliché, but let's try and move past it. After the slaughter, he changes to human form, revealing that he is in fact red hair, a beautiful boy bearing blue banks to boot. Balls. He's also an evil Kamen Rider with powers similar to 000, so I'll call him Shamu. Not wanting us to wonder about Shamu's origins, another character from 000's show, Uncle Scrooge, immediately reveals thereafter that he sorta probably created Shamu by continuing his experiments to replicate those monsters that almost destroyed the world at the end of 000's show. Of course, for the knowledge that he creates another monster in the future, Uncle Scrooge doesn't stop developing this, cause that would be cheating. And one way or another, let's face it, Skynet's just gonna happen. Speaking of things bound to happen, we now see the rest of 000's supporting cast, the unimportant love interest of the show, and Uncle Scrooge's secretary driving around together because, you know, girls, every once in a while they have to drive around explaining to each other about the ending to 000's show, in which 000's demonic glove male life partner Mr. Handman died, causing, of course, 000 to wander the earth in search of a cure for her death. As they wonder how that's going, the two ladies are attacked, because it's been over 30 seconds since some action happened. They're attacked by the minor villains of 000's show, the hilariously named Yummies, or Yummies, as the Native Americans call them. So damsels in distress, problematic, right? But then Pajama Sam arrives, and during his travels he's picked up the mannerisms and lifeless appearance of Tommy Wiseau. Sadly, before he has the chance to say, "Oh hi supporting cast, don't worry about it," he is bonked on the head by Shamu. But all that does is cue the next lucky appearance. That's right, Iron Man. I mean the scruffy Iron Man from 000's show. He wastes no time in getting his ass kicked. But all that does is cue the next lucky appearance. It's Iron Man's protege, the significantly less scruffy Iron Man with terrible looking teeth. He too wastes no time in getting his ass kicked, but all that does is cue the next lucky appearance. Pajama Sam again, who's apparently been possessed by Mr. Handman, despite the setback of Mr. Handman being dead. Anyhow, as that coward Mr. Handman does, he plunges his hand into Shamu's innards and pulls out some magic metals, the same kind OO needs to transform. Of course, Mr. Handsam is a little grossed out by what he'd just done, so he quickly throws the metals away from himself to himself. Yes, there's two Pajama Sams now, causing his unimportant love interest to say, "Sweet Metropolis or Queen Doppelpopolis? Which one's real?" Naturally, by the time she finishes asking that, the second Pajama Sam has already turned into Kamen Rider 000 and beaten the shot out of Shamu. Of course, Shamu still gets away, but all eyes are on Mr. Handsam, who is really just Mr. Handman. For you see, by resurrecting off-screen, he naturally gained the power to shapeshift. Mr. Handman turns into his normal actor from the show now, which he wasn't before because he had to, you see, dramatic entrance? Oh, and Pajama Sam of course forbids Mr. Handman from shapeshifting for the rest of the movie because, well, you know, the situation would inevitably rise up where he has to seduce a guard and turn into a sexy lady or something, and even for this kind of movie, there's just no time for it. Speaking of no time for things, Team 000 gets right to the heart of the plot, by which of course I mean they talk about Pajama Sam's underwear. After discussing this for a couple minutes, they realize there's been a couple minutes without an attack and get attacked. Yummy's again, and Shamu too. In these last couple minutes, who knows how much training he got in. Verily, our heroes are in trouble. Except Pajama Sam senses turmoil within Shamu, because Tobos can do that. So he doesn't transform to fight, but almost dies that he might appeal to the person he doesn't know's moral fiber. Now, you might expect Fjarsengard to pop in around here, since someone's totally stealing his shtick, but he still won't be around for a while. Naturally, this stupid plan works out, and Shamu's real identity is returned. His real identity is a shivering pusscake. Worse than that, he's a shivering pusscake who wants to explain his origin. You see, in the future, he was a mild-mannered shivering pusscake, but then magic metals from 000's time randomly jumped to the future and went inside him, causing his own magic metals to become sentient and also a jerk. Oh, that was thankfully short. Didn't even try to explain the time travel. Huh. Origin explained Jerk Shamu takes over Shamu's body again, but luckily Mr. Handman doesn't fuck around. Plunging his Mr. Hand into Shamu's innards once again, he pulls out more of those crazy magic metals. Of course, being weaker makes the villain stronger, so Jerk Shamu constitutes a body outside of Shamu. Yeah, I know, it's dumb. He's a sentient mass of slammers. What the hell do you want from him? Then he gets away, leaving Shamu Prime bawling like a pusscake. Sensing the mood of the room, an important love interest girl gives Pajama Sam a fresh set of pink boxer shorts. Quite adorable. More so, I'm sure, because they were freshly worn. Shamu wonders what the hell their deal is, but Mr. Handman tells him that so long as they're spending time making underwear gags, tomorrow's bound to be a brighter day. Jerk Shamu is opening a time gate. His apparent goal is to beat up everyone from every era ever. And he's moving on from this one because he clearly established his superiority by losing to the Fey Demonic Hand and Hobo 3 times. Speaking of the thoroughly beaten pair, they smell where Shamu is and go to kick his ass one more time. But this time, inexplicably, it's not really working out. Yes, Pajama Sam's struggling, but all that does is trigger the next lucky appearance. The Iron Men who got their asses beat earlier. Well, maybe it's backwards day, and they'll be the ones to kick ass this time. Of course, it's not particularly inspiring that they're trying to fight on motorboat they're already beaten. But all that does is cue the next lucky appearance. Shamu Prime on a jet ski. The supporting heroes presumably robbed a boat store on the way. Still, it makes for a cool entrance as Shamu jumps off the jet ski and into the water, moving through it like it's a part of... No, he fights on the jet ski by ramming it into the villain. Over and over again. Well, once he finally gets off and gives the villain a girly shove attack, it seems better by comparison. Following the girly shove, Shamu Prime and 000 finish off the Jerk Shamu by combining big fleshy kicks, thus thwarting Jerk Shamu's evil plans to meet historical figures, run away from them, and claim he beat them in a fight. The fight over, Shamu Prime rides his jet ski into the future, and while the logistics of that sink in, Mr. Handman slips away too. for he too was from the future. See, because they haven't really cured his death yet, but they'll get there sooner or later. So, in the meantime, he can just pop in from the future, where death has been cured. Speaking of the band Cure, the white-clad scientist types from earlier in the movie pop up and apparently burp an explosion at Pajama Sam, causing him to stumble slightly, causing all those magic metals that Mr. Handman stole earlier in the movie to fall out of wherever they were. The apparent head scientist, Hugo Weaving, picks up the magic metals from the future. That technically they all were, but to clarify, I don't mean the ones that were sent to the future and then went back to the past. I mean the ones that were made in the future and then sent back to the past also. So not the ones that gave Jerk Shamu an evil sentience. The evil villains want the other metals, which were useless. Hugo Weaving picks up these metals and villainously winks at the camera for a commercial break.